24/7. So I recently found out that Facebook and Instagram is connected somehow, like with gang stalking. And shout out to Kevin Christian. He talks about that a lot on that they somehow linked it to my Instagram and Facebook. I know that they didn't like it when I changed my Facebook password, like using my trick that I explained a few months ago in another video of how to like hide your password when you change it. But somehow it's still linked. But I actually gained access to the account on Facebook too. So I'm collecting all this evidence, my accounts with a fake account. I'm taking screenshots. I'm saving everything.
Greetings to all of you. I will talk about a real subject that I hate to talk about a lot, but something disgusting and disgusting. I almost try to use the internet most of the time to run in order to see the brothers in Europe and America and their friends in order to get rid of this devil in Iraq, which has become like a shadow that I do not get rid of even in the darkness. Wherever I go comes this filthy German. That is why I have to leave. The important thing is that I have warnings to the victims of choice in Iraq. Just do not change the note that the victims of choice are not only victims of mind control only in Iraq, but these are the ones who show signs or know that what happened to them is because for mind control, while thousands of people are falling victims and they do not know that the reason for these weapons. I will now only speak about the victims of choice, and they are instructions for them only. 1. They have to know that they have fallen into a trap of hell, which is very difficult to get out of. The trap is not at all because they are something special, or they have extraordinary talents, or have abilities. They fell into the crocodile's jaw. The important thing is that they have signed something here that they must know about, which is the purpose for which they will be used. Of course, most of the victims do not know this. Rather, they do not know why the members of this gang chase them everywhere they go in Iraq and why the gang is making those around the victim they know they have, for example, members of his family who live in their midst. Of course, as I said, that most of the victims are from the poor, so they do not have a house and they live with their families, meaning the house does not belong to them, so that those who live in it cannot betray them either.
I just wanted to make this video about my current situation with my gang stalkers. I really hate thinking about them at all, but that's all they can do is obsess over me 24/7. So
1. They do not have money, or if they have work or money, the gang will waste this important. I want to tell you that the purpose of making them like this is a conspiracy and its dirtiness. In short, something similar to that a gang leader has a gang that does all kinds of evil and he is the one who leads them, but he wants to preserve on himself in order to be far from danger, so he makes the victim of choice become his face, or he makes himself a secretary to it, a hidden guardian agent, and claims that she is the one who leads this gang, and whoever registers elements for it and whoever chooses here, notice that this devil will be far from any danger, and everything the danger lies on the victim's head here. Perhaps someone asks and says that the victim did not sit in a position at all and did not give any orders to any group also that does not have an organization or records nor any salary, and no one asked her verbally to choose someone, etc. Of course, this is true, but with what we know we are only from Allah, but their devil of Iraq who made himself a prophet, and this is called the science of the unseen. For example, the victim makes himself the secretary. For example, the victim thinks that she lives with her family and they are just people with whom she has a social relationship only, and she is not responsible for them in the sense that she is a manager over them, and this is the same thing with friends that you know, but this is not true. The victim's family friends were made members of this gang and were made the victim is the manager over them without knowing, just as the victim, for example, behaves in normal behavior. For example, she eats and drinks, and thinks that this is a normal thing, while all of these are orders or recording elements or choosing, etc. Also writing, reading and speaking with others or listening to them.
Emperor shut in like some child? Who rules China, you or him? Do you? How Zhou lies, kills, and steals, then blames you for his injustice. Liang Xiangpu is only protecting China. That's
or taking money or a need, or thinking all of these are orders according to the devil's lie, of course. Also the victim's family when they perform actions that the victim thinks are normal, but they are all orders from this Satan. For example, preparing food or bread, or cleaning the house, or working in it and fixing something, etc. Everything he enters the house, etc. Of course, this devil orders his followers to visit attributes to the victim that make her something unusual, but all this changes completely in several cases, including if the victim discovers this game and knows that there is an organization or position for it, and if the victim wants to lead this position, it is not this Satan the spy here will change everything, and this devil says that the Holy Spirit came out of her or she became that. Look at this wicked devil that was when the victim did not know anything and he was playing what he wanted and exploiting her name, and he gave orders and records and says that she is from the victim, while once the victim knows this he changes everything, and just as he gave orders to falsify her good qualities, he will give orders to discredit her and completely topple her with everything in order to claim that she has become bad. So the Holy Spirit departed from her, and then he searches for another foolish person to play the same game, of course. This is the first case, and that is very rare because most of the victims did not know anything about this. The second case is that this devil gives each victim a choice of a specific period of time, and after this he throws it and goes to play the same game with another victim and also needs an argument in order to throw the victim, and for this he drops her, harms her and distorts her reputation, and also gives orders to use weapons for mind control against her. Note, of course, I personally do not know why he makes her bad in order to leave, because there is no one to hold him accountable or higher than him to. 3. For example, he tells him that he left the victim's body because it is an evil, but I think that the reason is that when tyrants or terrorist leaders do any evil deed, they give an imaginary reason from their invention. He invented an imaginary reason and said that a delegation from the state of Kuwait came and asked for his help, and this is his lie, and no one asked him for justification because he completely broke the law, but despite this he invented such a lie and started working with it for a while here. For himself only, there is no legal authority at all that comes to him to ask him for the reason for leaving the body that he was claiming that the Holy Spirit entered into, because this is completely illegal, as he implanted segments of the mind control over the victim's body, and by this he committed a crime and destroyed the victim's DNA as well. The actions he performed are all not it is legal to destroy all sources of money for the victim as well. This is a deception, fraud, and exploitation of the victim's name in a position that has nothing to do with either. Whoever authorized this to make himself a guardian or agent, of course, this is the cause of the harm that gets victims of selection. Now I repeat to you the description of the Holy Spirit game that was invented or benefited by this terrorist who owns a terrorist gang only and is not organized at all as he claims.
For you?
I love you.
Don't I want to leave?
You must be insane.
Make them feel guilty.
We're doing important work here.
There's the way out.
You're liable to get into a bad accident, get sick, or even die.
I'm warning you. Without us, you're likely to get into a bad accident, get sick, or even die.
If you leave, you'll just be reincarnated into a lower life form.
Make it easier for them to...
You want to give up.
You're weak.
Do you want to move forward toward freedom and enlightenment? Or do you want to fall back into your old dirty ways?
What's more important, our mission?
Our family?
Eternal salvation?
Or your petty grievances?
You're being negative,
Ignorant
Selfish.
and sinful.
Our leader is flawless.
The doctrine is flawless.
There must be something wrong with you.
There must be something wrong with you.
There must be something wrong with you.
There must be something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me.
Yes.
이 귀신은 이거는 도대체 흉악한 놈이 어떻게 죽이고 가해가지고 이 미친 이런 거는 이렇게 싹둑 잘라서 어?
4. Now I am talking about a lie, the gift of God or the gift of God to the victim of choice, which is brought by a demon who made himself a messenger of God or prophet in Iraq. Here is what is this gift. As I said earlier, it is an intelligence network affiliated with the former regime in Iraq that came back again to destroy Iraq, but put various masks on it so that it conceals itself, and from these masks, or the most important of them, that they are a sacred organization or God's organization, and this organization has laws from God and it has conditions. First, that the filth who made himself a prophet guard over it and the laws in which it works. Of course, this dirty is a despicable terrorist, and he is an intelligence officer from the days of the previous regime. He is the leader of this terrorist intelligence network, which was the one who attacked the international forces in Iraq and incited people against them and spread all kinds of lies about them. This son of Satan made himself a prophet and became the highest authority in all of Iraq, and from this we notice that Iraq has become an enemy of all the coalition countries, so there is no cooperation with these countries with anything, but even friends of these countries. Many of them were killed and harmed, and Iraq returned completely to the same situation in the days of the former regime in terms of considering the United States of America and the countries of Europe the enemy of Iraq, and these tricks and dirt from this devil and his filthy gang. The important thing is to continue talking about the terrorist dreams organization, for example, in which there are conditions, including that the victim of choice works unseemly as well. It is not allowed to take anything from this organization. I mean, it does not take money or anything, but only thieves and terrorism. Whoever God allowed them to take everything from it, and this is what the prophet of evil says. They also have laws that are a completely copy of the laws of any gang. For example, if they have any member who violates them, they beat him or kill the element that belongs to them as well. This will not be able 6. Resignation or leaving work with them, but rather remains until death, because his name has become in the computer of Satan, but it may be frozen for him, but his name will never be erased. In the last stage, which is the stage of expelling her only, and this talk, frankly, will not help much because they exploited the victim, but the victim will do it. It is just like a gang shot you and an injury occurred and you are looking for a way to treat yourself only, and while they are obstructing this means everything that the victim will do is only defending himself and not attacking at all. As I said, the right time to speak is in the first stage. These gangs will be busy exploiting the victim, and this means the collapse of all the lies that they committed. 6.
عبادك اليمانية دايما حكة الثانية نحن غراب نحن غراب نحن غراب أكن إليك عانية عبادك اليمانية دايما حكة الثانية نحن غراب أكن إليك نحن غراب أكن إليك عانية عبادك اليمانية دايما حكة الثانية نحن غراب نحن غراب نحن غراب أكن إليك عانية عبادك اليمانية دايما حكة الثانية نحن غراب أكن إليك عانية.
7. Now I have advice for those who chose to confront this gang. Of course, inside Iraq, this is very difficult, but perhaps some of the victims of the choice choose this first. It is a war and not a game at all. The gang is an enemy in every sense of the word. A possibility even though most of the victims are poor and they do not have any possibility, but perhaps here he has to buy a weapon, and this is very important. Also trying to search for friends if he found some of them remain far from this gang, but if the gang made them elements of it, they will not benefit anything. As for the law in Iraq, I see, it is stupid to rely on him because he knows that there is such a gang outside the law and does all kinds of evil, and it is his duty to hold them accountable, but he did not because this gang is the one who appointed the law in the position of law to take care of their interests only, and if he opens his mouth they will only throw him in the garbage. This is why it is foolish to inform a policeman about the existence of a thief, and he knows this. You can easily conclude this. For example, I personally requested to set laws about mind control in Iraq, but no one admitted this because I spoke about their masters, which is like I went to inform an employee in a government department about the director of this department. Perhaps this employee, before he knows that this is a manager on him, will speak against him, but as soon as he knows, he will run away here. The advice is to gather some friends if there are true friends who believe the victim in what you say and they do not betray them when the gang offers them money or threatens them. And this is difficult because most of the victims are poor, so they do not have friends who have strength that they can be an aid to them or give them enough help to enter this war. There is something. That. Another is to benefit from the self-defense law, as this gang is struck by an unknown weapon inside Iraq and it is a mind control, but the wrong law in Iraq does not contain any clause in this regard, but no judge understands anything, nor a doctor, for this they are the only ones who keep striking. Of course, damages to Waves mind control in the programs that they carry out on the victims of choice are completely fatal. I mean, very unfortunately, that even stopped for mind control, but the damage is unparalleled, meaning something similar. For example, when the former regime healed Halabja area with chemical weapons and thousands of citizens were killed in it, but not only those who were killed. They are the ones who were harmed by many of the survivors and those who breathed the air or had farms and returned to it with polluted etc. All this is other damage. I want to say this gang is killing him and they are the last person to speak about God. Now I have another advice and also this is very important and I beware that you believe with all this gang. There are tricks that this gang is doing by making itself something like that they are a family or clan and on the basis there are half in them they are good and half another evil and this evil is the one who does this the harm against the victim is completely beware of this trick, and beware that you go to the half that made himself good. This is a trap, or you think that they are against the other half and want to cooperate with you, for example against their brothers or colleagues. You will commit a fatal mistake. The leader of this organization, family, or clan is the enemy and they are all who lead them, and he is the one who made half pretending to be good, or a group of senior, and he is also the one who made a group that becomes terrorism and killing him or young people, all of them one network and they know one law and one record that brings them here or enter 9 at. If you enter among them, you will completely lose a note. Perhaps you will not be able to find friends standing with you and you see that the group that made themselves adults smile at you. But did you know that they are the ones who prevent people from cooperating with you in order to come to them to ask for help from them and then you belong with them and remains for mind control and it remains just a scarecrow, a peeler, or a scapegoat, for these are both arms of the devil in Iraq. Beware completely. Even if you stay alone, this is on the scale of war. It is much better for you than throwing yourself into the mouth of a crocodile. They are exactly the same thing. They are also one circle. With you or your team, then I give orders to them to change all the laws in which they work as well. Tell them to give an amount of 20 million dinars, for example, and they will not implement anything of this. Here you will know the truth. I mean, look at yourself and ask why those with you, who are you, so that they are with you or a team for you also, who paid them money, did God, for example, pay them and also pay for terrorism and thieves, their colleagues, of course, not that it is this devil and this is one of the tricks. This is something like he throws a weapon on you, he is unemployed and after that he keeps shooting at you and you will not be able to respond with anything and then he says that you are a weak person and you also have a weapon and did not answer him while the weapon is unemployed, does not take any orders from you and it only gives a kind of legitimacy for the return only, then you have to look for a real weapon that carries out orders from you and which you want you only to change anything with it, and this is correct as well. Beware of another point, which may be the victim believes that she has the internet and social networks, meaning Facebook, for example, in Iraq, and perhaps when he publishes a topic, for example, he thinks that he has done something. Of course, it will not help.
I am a lad. You've come to the right man. No.
Thank you.
Tut-tut, my boy. You're
taller. The scarecrow lost sight of the animals. He lost even the happy.
10 at. The entire internet is inside Iraq, even if other social media networks are good, but because they are inside Iraq, it becomes a danger to you and is not at all a help for you because this demon and this gang control the internet and it has 1,000 ways. For example, blocking this means that you will become like a person inside a bottle. No matter what you speak, no one will hear anything, but even liking or commenting and others are the ones who send it to you. Also, the game of closing the page, stopping or preventing the publication, etc. Also the phone is also a danger. They are the one who controls it, and everyone who calls you will turn to them, and they may lie and make themselves a secretary. For example, there is another thing for you, which is that they are spying on you by means of mind control, meaning everything you hear, see, or think of, even if this alone makes a mountain of difficulties fall on your head. Your enemy knows every move you make while you do not know anything about him, so he plans against you and never stops. So if you want to use the internet while you are inside Iraq, use it only to entertain yourself a little, but without any confidence or dependence, so that when you lose any page, it will not mean anything to you and you can open others. And also, that does not mean anything to you in this situation. Certainly, it is not a choice from you, but it is also imposed on you. It is good because if you had friends in America and European countries and you told them this here, there would be no harm on them, because those who spy on you inside Iraq are not angels, but rather they are the dirtiest terrorism at all, and they are an enemy of these countries. Exactly for this, perhaps terrorism will exploit these networks that you use or make them an organization, and they are the ones who lead it, not you. And then this page will be closed, and they will be exploited after this, so there is no need for this harm, so you can use the internet. 11 at only, and even if you meet people whom you consider your brother, but a mistake has been imposed on you and you have become a danger to them, not because of you, but you carry an enemy to them, so that if you are really a brother to them, you must do what I told you. Of course, there is something like flowers in which thorns grow, or something like placing a needle in the middle of straw, or something similar to the film of The End of Days when the devil enters the bodies of friends of Arnold Mossy. The same thing happens on the internet. The enemy will make himself the destinations you love, and maybe 10 elements who made themselves a friend on the internet, and there is one real friend, and this situation needs you. Unusual intelligence also needs to be a complete brain, while you carry an arsenal of slices for mind control. So how can you distinguish something else? All the internet inside Iraq is in their hands. It means that they are unable to deceive you. They will close the page completely, so that you must consider everything on the internet or the phone something is not important at all. And there is nothing wrong with opening the internet for entertainment only. I mean, when you look at your brothers and they are fine, this is enough to raise your spirits. Also, entertainment and seeing good scenery is better than the dirty shapes that follow you wherever you go in the open. It is also important that they do not know about you, which means just a normal person in Iraq only, and this is important so that the devil from Iraq does not contact them and deceives them or plays with them a game. He makes a group of his followers to represent them or credit them in Iraq. He also falsifies attributes for you. Here you become the reason about the harm done to your friends. I mean, I say it to you very frankly. You are like a person who was struck by the plague, and it is contagious and is quite dangerous to others. So will you go to visit your friends, for example, in order to harm them? Of course, you will move away from them, also warn against approaching you. 12 at have some sporadic additions. Of course, they will offer to marry his wife or a homosexual in Iraq, or they offer you to work or make themselves look for you for work, or they want you to go to the perfume on the condition that one of their members goes with you, etc. Of course, all this is mocking crocodile tears by you. Do they love you? For example, why did they steal all your money? They also hindered all of your life. Why did they destroy your DNA, and this completely destroyed your life also? Are such offers, for example, in exchange for silence about beating a French in Belgium, for example, and forgetting all of these victims? Of course, this particular is also impossible to be silent about this no matter what, even if there is a despicable traitor in Iraq trying, for example, to sit in the position of the person who carried out these attacks in exchange for keeping the terrorist and not holding him accountable. This is impossible, but even if this organization made itself the only guard, it will have to be crushed all in Iraq, and even if it remains lost without a guard, it is a million times better than the existence of a thief, and he has made himself the guard. Never compromise with the blood of innocent people in Europe at all, neither is his wife or homosexual in Iraq, nor 1,000 or 1,000,000 of them. Some French child fell victim to this terrorist organization in Iraq as well. If they say that they are the only religion of God and there is no religion other than them, then I declare again that I prefer to remain without any religion and do not recognize this terrorist organization nor this terrorist who made himself a prophet. Note that I am not a victim of choice at all in Iraq, but me and the leader of this gang are enemies, and bad luck has made my enemy take control of Iraq, while I am just a simple citizen and I know his truth. He is the one who struck the international forces in Iraq.
I've relieved Colonel Perry of his command.
GR-13, this mission has been canceled. I order you back to the cooling chamber. Now! Orders? I'm giving the orders from now on. We have a mission to complete. Any questions?